You're still watching Nile Cruise here on Nile TV International, dear viewers, coming to you away from the Egyptian Air Force Museum as we are celebrating the 6th of October war victory. And we are honored to have with us one of the heroes of the 73 victory, General Wasfy Beshara, who was a pilot leading a MiG-21 interceptor fighter in 73, and who was also there in the 67 regression. So General Beshara witnessed both moments, the low moment of 67 and the great high moment of 73. General Beshara, we are delighted and honored to have you with us, and happy October.
Thank you, and congratulations for October event. I wish to tell that October victory, it's only a lesson learned that whenever you have any depression moment like in 1967, but if you have the will and believe in yourself and your country and your leaders, that you can come over this and you can achieve the victory after training and spending a lot of time in continuous war between 1967 until 73. The goal was obviously clear among us that we have to do something about this. 1/3 of our country occupied by Israel, and we have to do something about it. The training and the leaders change give us the chance to overcome our depression, and it start to be a motive for us to achieve the goal, which is kick out all this enemy out of our country.
Indeed, a lesson. The October victory is a lesson for us Egyptians. It's something that's being taught in military institutions worldwide, something seen as somehow as some sort of a miracle because of the disadvantage, General Beshara, that we had with the enemy in regards of the equipment or the technological advancement of the equipment. But we had the heart, we had the will, we had the determination. Right and justice was on our side. Tell us, and you were a graduate of 65, right?
Yes.
And you witnessed 67.
Yes.
So tell us about the difficult moments and the moments of hope between 67 and 73 during the war of attrition.
During 1967, I was in a fighter squadron at Inchas Airport. I was standby as a first alert stage. That means you are in the cockpit. We are 4 aircraft ready for defending any enemy cross our border and from anywhere. That means I'm the number one should be in the air. I have no alarm, no one tell us to go, no one knows that the war started. I've been hit by the Israeli in the airport, and my aircraft exploded.
Your aircraft exploded?
Yes, exploded totally, you know, and I ran out of the fire.
So you were inside the aircraft?
Yeah, I was inside and tighted, and the hood closed inside the aircraft.
Well, that's a miracle in itself that you survived that day.
Yes, everybody was watching that they thought that I
Yeah.
finished. They are not gonna
Yeah.
see any part of my body. But I don't know how I get out. When if you know the MiG-21, it is high, and there was no ladder, nothing, and I get out of the aircraft with all my equipment, with no single hit. That gave me the feeling that why I didn't take my chance, why I didn't, nobody telling me to go and fight. We didn't have the chance to defend our airfield, which was in Chas, or the country.
You were taken by surprise.
Yes, for sure. It was several mistakes that we have to bear the first hit, and then that was a right decision. And the leaders at that time, they were in the air. The Field Marshal
Abdel Hakim Aimer. Abdel Hakim Aimer.
Yeah,
Yes.
he was in the air with the leaders going somewhere. Nobody ran the show.
But we learned from our mistakes, and in '73 we took everybody by surprise.
Yes.
Under the leadership
You
of the
have
great
to
Anwar
have
al-Sadat.
If you want to win, you have to start. Then this make all the Egyptian pilots feel we are not that bad. We are not the reason for
Defeat.
Yes. Then we start to make training, and actually
Immediately after the aggression, right? Immediately. Right.
I can tell you there was a lot of heroes during '67, but because it is by the end it is failed, that nobody talked about those heroes and what they did. A lot, really.
Very important point that you're mentioning.
Yes.
Yes.
And right away after that, we lost 85% of our Air Force.
And the estimation was? And the estimation was we're not going to lose anywhere near
That
10%.
everybody
or
said
something.
that's the end for Egypt.
Yeah.
But actually, we have to admit that Algeria, Ben Bella, said, send your pilots and I will give them all the aircraft from Algeria. And that's next week. We brought some of the Algerian aircraft, and we start training, and then Russia start to give us
The jets. Yes.
aircraft to recover our force. Then 2 months after 1976, 14 and 15th of July, the Air Force Marshal changed, and the leaders was changed, and we took the effort and attack all the Israeli bases in Sinai. Nobody knows about this. It was a big move, and we did a lot of damage for them, and surprise Israel and surprise all the world. How come those have been demolished and destroyed totally? 85% of them, and they can do that now. That means if you have the will and a good leader and have a goal to achieve, you can do something.
Sure.
Then, actually, we have to admit also, it's a good point for President Mubarak. He was
The commander of
the
the
manager
Air Forces.
of
the college, Air Force,
College, Air Force College, and he really graduated a lot of pilots during this 6 years. A lot of pilots, and we start training them in the squadron. For sure, we have two missions now: to defend the country and start stopping the Israeli from doing more for harming for us, and at the same time train the new pilots how to fight. The pilot just graduate from school, that's not, he's a fighter pilot. And we lost a lot. We lost a lot of pilots during training and during this continuous war. But finally, we can say that around 500 pilots achieved during this time to start the 73 war. That's a big difference in this short of time to make all these pilots and train them how to be a fighter and how to fight and have the spirit to do it. It was a big achievement.
You were leading an interceptor fighter, MiG-21. So talk to us about what you were doing. I mean, defending and protecting the bombers. Talk to us about your jets, your aircraft.
The MiG-21, I want to mention things before. The difference between 1967 and 73. We were in 73 with the same equipment, the same MiG-21 and MiG-17 and Sukhoi, and the same equipment and the same people like me. In 1973, Israel have the
Mirage,
the latest Mirage, and Phantom, and Skyhawk, and the latest technologies from America and Europe. This difference, but with our morale and our belief in us, in ourselves and our leaders,
courageousness.
Yes, we did this miracle.
And you have the new pilots, the pilots that you mentioned that graduated between 67 and 73.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's 500 pilots at that time.
Yeah.
Imagine 200 aircraft crossing the Suez Canal at the same time, and with that's.
So when you got orders, General Beshara, did you get the news on the morning of the 6th of October, or when did you get the news that we were going to war?
I was the second command of the Squadron 49. Although I'm in the high rank of the pilots, but I didn't know about it before, the night before. That was very
good. The secrecy, yes.
Yes, the camouflage of the time of the war and if we're gonna do it or not by
a masterpiece by the late great Sadat, yes.
Yeah.
Because everything was normal in the country. Football matches were being played at the time of the war.
That's right. Yeah. We ourselves, we didn't know, but as I said that night before, to prepare our craft and put stuff. The fighter squadrons, just for defending the country against any enemy, and escort and protect the fighter bomber aircraft like MiG-17 and Sukhoi to attack and do their mission for destroying the enemy. And after the army cross and occupied area,
the East Bank, yes,
we have to be on top of them to defend them against the enemy aircraft to hit the
you have
army.
multi-missions, multi-missions.
Yeah. My squadron was having area from Suez to Hurghada to defend the southern part of Suez Canal, and
that's a very long line. That's a very long line. And I wanted to ask you about this. Tell us about the moment of the crossing, the great crossing of the Suez Canal, please. And we understand that the crossing happened across 180 kilometers. Those boats, I mean?
That's right. the Israelis have this big wall,
The Bar-Lev line?
Bar-Lev height, and it's everybody said that you cannot cross it. You have to have a atomic bomb for demolishing this and so on. But for sure, it is along the Suez Canal from Port Said until Suez. We have two armies at that time, the number 2 army and
second
number
army,
3,
yes.
third army, and they crossed at the same time along this 180 kilometers. It is not just a battle for here or there. No.
The plan was for you to go first, the aviation?
The plan was that we escort the fighter bomber. That's the first thing happened.
Yes.
At 2 o'clock exactly, 200 aircraft crossed the fighter pilot, escort the aircraft fighter bomber.
And after the bombing, the boats should cross.
Yes, but we saw
what
them.
happened is you saw the boats go.
Yeah.
As soon as they saw the airplanes in the air, they went into the water. They were so eager. They were.
The morale was so high. The morale was so high, and it is real that the army, whenever he feels that he covered by the aircraft and by the fighters, they feel safe. They feel safe. And we escort the fighter bomber, and they did their mission. They bombed the rocket bases and the airfields and all their communication stations and
then you returned above the Bar-Lev line?
Sorry?
And then you returned above the Bar-Lev line?
Yes. In our way for return, we saw the soldier, all them cross. They didn't wait because the artillery should start bombing the Bar-Lev line, and then the soldier, but they didn't wait.
And they went one-on-one with the enemy on the Bar-Lev line?
Yes.
And the water cannons, what about the water cannons? The water cannons that got the Bar-Lev line?
They crossed first before open in Bar-Lev line. They crossed with the boats, rubber boats, and start climbing the Bar-Lev line and fighting the Israeli on that defending line. At the same time, they start the water bombs to opening in Bar-Lev line. But they already passed, and they didn't wait for the opening. Is just for the tanks and the cars and artillery to go through. But the artillery, the people themselves, they climb it and pass it and start fighting before it's supported by the tanks and cars.
That was the greatest day in your life, right?
Yes.
6th of October.
You cannot imagine it, and nobody can imagine it. Because I fly over this, and I see along the Suez Canal, it's something like ants coming up on that hill. It's high. It is high, and they go. I myself was almost screaming in
You had 2 brothers. I want to conclude by this, because they are not with us, but they are also one of the some of the heroes of 73.
That's right.
So General Wasfy Beshara, you had 2 brothers in the army in 73 as well in the victory. Tell us about them, please.
My older brother Magdi Beshara, he was very famous in the army. He was the hero of the Green Islands, Green Island, El Gezira Khadra. This is a small rocky island in the entrance of Suez Canal. There is he was in the air defense. He's not like Saka or something like that, but one of his battalions was on this island, and they always bombing Israel on the other side. Then Israel decided we have to occupy this
Green Island.
the Green Island, and they prepare for it during the night of Armstrong going to the moon.
Aha,
And
69, yeah.
Yeah, and everybody was watching the TV, nobody cared. And they attacked this Green Island by helicopters and special force and Navy. They surrounded the
That's a
small
complete
island.
siege, yes.
And only 60 people on that island. And they tried to
Occupy
take
them.
it over.
Yes.
They called my brother Magdi was on land in Suez. They told him that Israeli attack us and so on. He took the rest of his people, was two boats, and went to the island during this and start fighting. It is unequivalent things.
Yes.
You know, people, they are not special for fighting.
Yes.
They are special for anti-aircraft
defense, yes.
defense. And he started fighting them, and they couldn't, because it is, as I said, it's like rock. They couldn't occupy the island, but they gained more force from Israel, and they decided to have it by any means. A lot of his force already dead or
Fell martyr, yes.
yeah, and he called the Third Army leader and tell him, we are not gonna allow Israel to take this island from me. I'm gonna go down in holes, underground holes, and so on, and you bomb the island. He said, are you crazy? All of you are gonna be died. He said, no matter. We will die, but they shouldn't take the island. And they went to whole undergrounds, and the whole Third Army artillery opened the fire
And they killed the enemy.
They killed everybody on top of this.
And your brother
my brother
survived, and survived with many of his colleagues.
30 of his people alive. And after they stopped it, they came out and they shot. And he shot one of their helicopter.
Yeah.
It was.
What an amazing story.
You have to go back to Israeli history. They wrote it, and they admitted they couldn't take over this island from 60 people.
All respect to the soul of General Magdi Beshara.
Yeah.
What about your other brother?
Yeah, my other brother, the younger one, he was in the rocket artillery. He was in the Third Army. Most probably he had this Green Island also.
Yeah. General Kamal.
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 Yeah. He is one of the famous there in the artillery. We did our part. And my father, mother.
You are our heroes,
No.
General Wasfy.
During after the 1970, January 1970, we were in a patrol over the Suez Canal, and Israel have the new Phantom, the F-4. The Phantom was the top aircraft in the world at that time, and we fly the MiG-21. 8 of them came, and they tried to threaten us, you know. But we were 4 aircraft, Finger 4. That by our leader was Samir Aziz. And he crazy. He wants. We will go for that. We will go against them. And they scream down in the ground, come back, come back. It is uneven battle. You cannot. It's 8 Phantom against
for
MiG-211. And I went for this, and we went for very close combat, and I have the chance to catch one of them in his tail, and I shot him down and shot him with one rocket, and he exploded. But because I was very happy,
And
I shot him again.
And you returned all safely?
And the
all
four of
you?
us get together and back to our field safe.
Wonderful, wonderful stories.
And they gave me reward. That's at that time they give.
It never stopped. It never stopped. It wasn't only 73. It was immediately after 67 that the heroics of our Egyptian armed forces got on track, and the unity with the Egyptian people, between the army and the people, got us to where.
Actually, the people of Egypt, they were behind the army and air force, and actually everybody, his sons and. In the army. And he stays there for 6-7 years.
Every house in Egypt had a share. On this note, we have to end it here. We listen to the music, of course, of a band here inside the Egyptian Air Force Museum, orchestrating patriotic songs, military songs, and patriotic songs celebrating October. And we had the great honor and pleasure of hosting with us here on Nile Cruise, dear viewers, General Wasfy Beshara, one of the heroes of the October 73 victory. Happy October, General Beshara, and thank you for being here.
Thank you.
We enjoyed having you.
And I wish that it's October event give a lesson learned for the young people that if you believe in your leader and have a goal to achieve, you will. Okay.
Thank you. A great honor.
Thank you.
General Beshara, thank you very much. And dear viewers, please stay with Nile Cruise here on Nile TV. Don't go away.